What's going on, everybody? I'm Aslan. That's Michael Langston. This is the signing day preview, sponsored and brought to you by ABC Fine Liquor and Spirits in the Tallahassee area. Check them on out, folks. We're going to be talking recruiting tonight for about an hour or so. This is a little bit of our warm up, Michael. Like we're doing a marathon on Wednesday, so this is our 5K pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
1 hour as opposed to the 7 hours. Although you and I won't have to do 7 hours. As a team, we will. You and I will carry most of the morning. Tom Lang will also be pitching in. And then he and Jeff Cameron will take over from 1 to 3 o'clock Wednesday here on our YouTube channel, as well as 93.3 FM in Tallahassee. And that as well, National Sign Day Live, will also be sponsored by ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, rather, Aslan. Get it right the first time around. How about it next time? Michael, we like to tell people to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That shows some support. What else can they do to show some support to you, who's running on very little food, very little rest? We just got to get you to the next 72 hours, champ.
Hit the like button, certainly, for us guys. Certainly a lot's going to be going on the next day or so. We'll have predictions tomorrow night. I'm sure everyone's going to be excited about that. And then certainly National Signing Day for the early signing period. That's going to be on Wednesday, so we'll have full wall-to-wall coverage. So you want to hit these kind of features that kind of promotes that and just helps us really keep these things going strong. So hit the like button as much as you can for us. We appreciate it.
All right, Michael. So what happens now? Is hay in the barn? Is it a quiet? Is it a dead period? What's been going on here since we last talked when you kind of set us up how things had gone this previous weekend for the podcast?
So you're in a dead period. That started at midnight on, I guess, a Monday morning, you could say, at midnight. And then now it's just you can only use electronics and calls and phone calls and stuff like that. That's all you can really do with coaches and communicating with recruits. So that's where they're at right now. You just keep working the phones, keep working these kids until they sign. Even the kids that are signing, you stay on top of them. That's kind of what you're seeing. I'm sure FSU's on the phone all the time, consistently, just constantly making sure everything, like there's no, all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and just make sure there's no surprises. And then and then you just wait for these decisions that are coming up for a lot of these kids, for several targets that we certainly covered. Julian Armello, Azare Thomas, those guys, several guys, and then you see if there's some other ones that decide to make a decision that will be following. Marvin Jones, possibly. Just that's kind of where they're at and what they're doing, and certainly what I'm doing is, and I've done all day, is prepping for all the stuff that we're going to have to do going up on sign day, getting a list together. I'm almost done, guys. I'm literally at the edge of it, almost done with all the time. So I should have that. If everything clicks and I get a few more that I'm waiting on, it could be posted tonight as far as the times. So I'm just kind of waiting on that. But if I get a few more, hopefully by tonight or even early tomorrow, I'll be able to post that list so you guys can follow exactly when each guy's having their ceremony and stuff like that. So that's what I have going on. Saw a question pop up there. Final predictions. Yes, we will be doing those Tuesday. I'm not going to say it's on every prospect, but it's going to be the guys that we consider, like FSU is in certainly a finalist for those guys. We'll put it in there, and we'll have predictions on the guys, and then we'll see what happens on Wednesday.
Right on. We begin, as we've been doing usually here, with our guy Rob Rathbun just hitting doubles to the gap, leading us off like Taylor Walls, Tyler Martin. Let's go. Thank you, Rob. We appreciate you, man. It's actually for you in Austin. He recognizes real. He knows it's you in Austin. It's a 2-man attack. It's not me.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Rob. But yeah, Austin does a phenomenal job. He was out there all day with me on Sunday. I actually, to be honest, guys, he was out there even more than I was. So Austin deserves a lot of credit. He was out there probably on Friday, even Thursday, and Saturday. Certainly, he was out there consistently, hours, just seeing who's there, communicating to our subscribers like, hey, this guy's arrived. This is what they're doing. Just kind of updating everything of what's going on the visit and what we know and what we're hearing as far as the visit. So Austin did a great job, and certainly he'll help us even more throughout signing day. And certainly he already has a nice little article on the portal, couple just guys to watch mainly. So good little feature there that people can check out and see what's going on with each guy that we're tracking. certainly that list is going to grow a lot. It doesn't slow down even after signing day. I think it's actually going to get even more hot after signing day. With a lot of these portal guys, that's when it really gets heavy, and that's when you start getting commitments and stuff like that. So I think just get ready, guys. It did For those that are wondering, it does not slow down with the portal just because you get past the early signing day. It gets really heavy, and so expect a lot of action. But I just want to give Austin a plug there because he's done a lot of good work, a lot of good features for us already, and certainly helped me out in recruiting. So it's a team effort here, man. It's like everybody helps.
That's right. Let's take a question here quickly before we hop onto the phone lines to our usual leadoff guy there as well. You all know who it's going to be. Get prepared. Get ready. Mateo Josephine actually just says, let's go. Actually, there we are. That's right. Let go Noles. Any news on Tyree West, Marvin Jones Jr.? Also, let me roll that into a two-part question for you, Michael. I forgot who asked it here. I'm going to scroll down and try to find it. But what's with all? Have you seen all these eyeballs that everybody's tweeting about? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's about. It could be in reference to Dillingham. Uh, Good or bad, I don't know because they're eye emojis and they don't tell you crap. So yeah, you just have to make your own assessments of that. Certainly, several people are doing it, so maybe it's potential good news, but we don't know. It's anyone's guess right now. So yeah, I noticed it earlier today too, and I'm sure people are talking about it because anything that's news related at this point, recruiting or coaching related, people are going to get excited about, both good or bad. So
all
I
right.
don't know I don't know what that's in reference to. As far as your question, Mateo, is that how you say that?
Mateo.
Mateo.
Yeah.
My bad, Mateo. Um, yeah, Tyree West. I mean, obviously both of these guys certainly will make predictions on tomorrow, so I won't give away too much. But I don't think a lot has changed just based on checking with Tyree. I still think I think things look good. We'll see how the next 24 hours go, and even going into predictions. But yeah, I'll check more on that and do more digging. But I definitely think FSU is very much a real possibility. And then Marvin, that's the same one with me that I've said all along that I think it's a close battle with Alabama and Florida State. Went on I believe he went on a Georgia visit this weekend, but I just don't consider them like a major threat compared to Alabama. And really, it's a toss up for me right now with Marvin. Just I forecast them there, but as I also tell people, it's going to be fluid. I mean, when I forecast them, that was earlier before things really got heavy. Certainly, there's a lot of factors that go into it. Like I think FSU's done a great job with the presentation with the NIL. I think that's kind of a key point in Marvin's recruitment, and then also the development. And let's face it, Alabama does. Alabama's Alabama when it comes to development, play on the field. They're in the championship nearly every year. So just it's going to be a back and forth battle, and certainly I'm gonna have to make a call tomorrow night, and we'll see how that goes. And that's kind of where I think things stand on Marvin. But there is a very real shot at landing both of those kids.
All right. Right on. That's what we like to hear. 5 stars. Come home. Come home, guys. Come on, man. Shoot. All right, let's go to the phone lines. It's a call-in show after all. Well, part of it at least. We'll cut the lines off eventually so we can focus on all you people on YouTube that are coming in with the good questions. Let's go to Virginia Beach, Virginia. Y'all know who it is, but we'll introduce him regardless. It's Gator Kirk. Gator Kirk, good evening to you, man.
Good evening, Aslan and Michael. How you guys doing tonight? Let's go. 48 hours.
Doing great, Kirk. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm in a zen place. We're gonna get who we get. We're gonna lose some kids, but we're gonna make the most of it. So
that's the right spirit to have. That's
the right mindset because the bottom line is your coaches are going to do everything they can do. They've done all the work. They've set the tone. They've got these kids on visits. They've got a lot of talented kids on campus, official visits. And the relationships, they've done such a strong job with the relationships, and now you have to obviously keep working the phones until that day comes, and then trust what your work has produced, and that's kind of what they've done with this class. When you look at it, number 11 in the country, if I'm not mistaken, unless that's changed. So they got a chance for a top 10 class if things fall the right way, and certainly they've done a strong job, and hopefully for them, they'll get some clarity on these coaching decisions, and you just go from there.
All right, I got a brief question. So Will FSU be able to free up enough scholarships to take the 32 this year?
I think they will. I think they will take the close to the full allotment of 32. I think they'll take, like I've told people many times that I said several weeks ago that they're going to take between 8 to 10 transfers. Like I said, I hear a couple rumors that they're up in the top 10 now. Look at that. So I've heard a few, just kind of small rumblings that there could be some portal guys that make decisions that aren't committed already to FSU that FSU could add to this class. It's not a guarantee, but they just said they're watching a few that possibly could go FSU's way. But I think they'll definitely get close to using that total.
All right, I appreciate it. You guys get some rest before Wednesday. Everyone out there listening, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Support DeLuna, eat at Zaxby's, ABC Wine and Spirits. You all have a great night, and go Noles. Let's go crush it on Wednesday.
That's my man. That's the dude, everybody. That's the dude right there. That's Gator Kirk in Virginia Beach, Virginia, Mr. 757 himself joining us here on the program. If you're a Tallahassee local, ABC Fine Wine and Spirits has 3 convenient locations. RIP to the one on West Tennessee Street. I remember going to that one quite often, Michael, when I was a student. It used to have a drive-through. It was amazing. It was amazing, children. You don't even realize what we used to have, us old people. But don't forget about the one on Thomasville Road, specifically 1930 Thomasville Road, like Benton, near Benton and Thomasville. It is known as having the biggest and best selection of wine, spirits, and beer in the Tallahassee area. So stop by today. Again, sponsored by ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Check them all out.
But
all right,
by the way, I was going to say, I got a few people asking me what the number is to call in the show, Aslan.
Well, they can wait their turn. We're already maxed on the line.
No, they're asking me just the number, just in, if they want to call in.
All right, 850-792-5730. Yeah, 5730. I was about to say that used to be the call-in line for the podcast, but it's been the same number this whole time.
850-792, and what's the last 4?
5730.
5730.
Look at that.
Gotcha.
On the fly. Let's get back here to the folks here on YouTube. People starting. Where's my guy Mark Sermons? Mark Sermons dropped something in the jar, but he didn't post a question. Mark, we got to work on you bundling this together. But there he is. There's Mark. Everybody, he lives. He's starting to he's trying to make a run for this. He's trying to make a run to get on this thing. We'll see if we can find the question from Mark. But to the question that Gator Kirk asked about getting down to the number that allows him to sign that 32 or whatever, Jaleel McCray here announced that he's going to FAU, getting back together with Willie Taggart. So the numbers slowly trickling in the direction that we need.
Yeah, and there's probably going to be more. So people have to remember that. But yeah, I think they will get to a number where they hit close to that, and I think there's a reason why you see these guys departing, and good for them. Jaleel, found a home at FAU. Carter Boatwright found a home at FAU. It seems like that's a feeder place for FSU guys, that played FSU. So best of luck to those guys. Great kids. Hope that works out for them.
Yeah. All right, let's hop back into the phone lines then, shall we? Let's go to Thomasville, North Carolina. Let's take one from our guy, Daryl, up there in Thomasville, North Carolina. Daryl, good evening to you, man.
How you doing, Aslan? How you doing, Michael?
Fantastic.
That shirt, man, you sporting there with the state on it.
Thank you.
Michael, you're doing a great job, my man. Enjoy the content that you put out all weekend long. Y'all doing a great job putting that stuff out. Got a shout out. Need to do a shout out to Miss to our offensive coordinator. He needs to turn down that stuff at Oregon. He don't need to be taking no job at Oregon. He just needs to stay right here, keep our boys together, keep this recruiting class together, and keep things going here at Florida State. But I wanted to ask you about our wide receivers. I think that what is I think Miramar and Pickett. I know we had Pickett in this weekend, and what did you get to talk to him, and how did he like things here at Florida State?
Okay. Yeah. Devon Mortimer, he's committed to FSU. Took a visit last weekend to Louisville, and then the weekend before that, he took one to West Virginia. Um, Tells me like, hey, I'm locked in, but I think he's also thinking things over to make sure of the decision. So he's signing at 2 p.m. On obviously signing day, so he is going to sign that day. Um, I've heard that FSU supposedly called him last night. I'm waiting to see how that call went. Um, I think there's situations like, look, I mean, the receivers have not looked great at Florida State, so maybe that causes some pause when you see that. So, but I think that's kind of where it stands. I think he loves FSU, grew up loving FSU, but you also want to make the best decision move and business move and be in the right place. So I think right now, I mean, I would still lean FSU, but I think he's thinking through some stuff just to make sure. And as far as Micah Pittman, he visited this weekend. He's out there from transfer from Oregon. Certainly a guy that he told me FSU sits in a good spot for him. So I think right now, yeah, he still has a visit to Texas A&M, and he might take one more. And then he wants to decide around Christmas time or so, and around there or something, maybe in January. But he's a guy that's been the top priority, and I think that's a big deal to circle that people forget. Like, there were several names throughout, like Tyrese Chambers and Joshua Moore, and of course Micah Pittman. But Pittman was the one guy that they were consistent. They visited him twice, both weeks for in homes. Obviously, they got him on campus for official visit. He certainly loved it. Things seemed to click really well, and I think he sees just the opportunity that he would have at FSU and what the offense be like for him as far as the comfort level. So I think he's comfortable with everything. Certainly, Dillingham situation makes that a little more interesting because we have to see. Obviously, if Dillingham's not here, he takes the job to Oregon, then the chances are probably he's not coming here. So since Dillingham's the leader for that recruitment, so I think that's kind of where things stand, Daryl, with those two young men.
And then my final question would be, if Dillingham does decide to take the Oregon job, with our man Barnes out there at Vegas and our other recruit Coleman, the other wide receiver, does that pretty much take care of them too, or do we still have a chance with Coleman and Barnes on signing day?
Yeah, I think it eliminates you for Barnes because Barnes is definitely the one guy, but it's a combination of a staff with um, Kevin Coleman because I think it decreases your chances certainly with Kevin Coleman because of Dillingham's the main recruiter, but there's a lot of recruiters in that race. I mean, he's really close to Dugans. He really likes Norvell a lot. Kevin's really high on him. So I don't think that eliminates you. It decreases the chances, but I think with Barnes it probably eliminates them. But with Coleman, I don't think it's like totally washed out that doesn't happen. But hopefully it doesn't happen in general, so you don't have to worry about it. And because I think FSU has got a really good shot, and I got a forecast FSU, and I haven't heard anything to change that right now. Certainly, there's a lot to consider with taking a visit to Miami. Certainly, he likes Southern Cal a lot, which I think those are seem to be the main teams. Oregon's certainly in there, but there's a new staff coming in Oregon, so a lot can change, and then maybe he reconsiders Oregon if Dillingham goes there, since Oregon was a school that was one of his kind of dream schools growing up. So there's a lot of factors to wait out or figure out before we kind of go from here and do. So that's kind of, I guess, the gist of where things stand with Kevin.
Well, I think it's our time to shine this year. We already got a top 10 with what we have coming in. I think this is going to be the year that we might even break the top 5 with a 5-7 record. And who would have ever thought that would have happened? So let's pick it up, Seminole fans. Let's get excited for our football team, and let's get excited for Mike Norvell and our Florida State Seminoles. And let's pick it up. Let's go Noles. Hit that like button, and let's go Noles. God bless.
That's the guy. That's the guy, everybody. It's the guy. He lives. He's in Thomasville, North Carolina. He goes by the name Daryl, everybody.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Daryl said a lot of good, interesting things there. Just his closing remarks, and certainly it's all right. But I think he put on. He might have unintentionally done this, but I think the thing that people forget is the amount of talented kids that they already have committed that you could get you're expected to sign on Wednesday. So I think that's a big deal that I think a lot of people focus on the Julian Armellos, the Marvin Jones, and the Kevin Colemans and Tyree West of this world, but this is a really good class, Aslan, with what they already have. So they could. The fact you sign these guys, it's going to look at a really good situation for FSU as far as going where they want to go for the future.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, this ain't 2005 everybody. Like there's no closing strong on signing day anymore. It's you get them early and you just hang on for dear life, and they're hanging on with a lot of these guys. Let's go to Abdel, because anytime he's got a question that's not basketball related, I'm going to go ahead and pop it up on the screen. Abdel asked, do the Noles think they still have a shot with DeCarlos Nicholson?
I think the way things are trending with Azare Thomas, I don't think so. I think they were pushing, but I think Thomas has been the guy that they want, and they've wanted. I've heard one or two defensive backs, but if you add, Zari can play both safety and corner. So I think, and certainly and this is just my opinion, I would view higher with Thomas. I think Nicholson probably either sticks with Kentucky or, if I had to guess, goes to Mississippi State. That's kind of what I'm hearing, with his recruitment. So I think that's where things stand with him.
All right, right on. Let's see what we got here. Rick Cotton asking, Big Rick's back, y'all. He didn't like it one time. He thought that I was talking bad about the kids. We're not allowed to blame kids for errors. It's all coaching. Shout out though, Rick. Rick could probably take me one-on-one, so we'll let him get away with it. Jay Sean Corbin going pro, Michael. Is Florida State going to sign more running backs?
They will sign one. I definitely think they'll definitely sign one now that Corbin has gone pro. And can't really blame the kid when you're getting 7 yards per carry. I mean, have the year that Corbin had. Certainly, he looks like he's NFL ready. Certainly, you wouldn't blame him if he came back or if he left. So, yeah, I think they're going to hit a running back. And unlike the quarterback position, the quarterback position with me is you just need somebody that's solid, that's going to push Jordan Travis. You don't need a superstar, but you just need somebody that's a productive guy that's going to push Jordan and see who wins in this. And made the best man win or whatever. But I think with running back, I think you need an elite guy. I mean, you need somebody that can come in there, a very extremely productive type of running back in the portal. We'll see if they can get that, but I think that's a position where you just want a star player. Certainly, I feel very good about what Trayshawn Ward does, what Lawrence Toafili do. I think both of those guys bring a lot to that offense. But for me, I think you really want a really talented, high-level elite running back. So that's kind of my focus on those two positions. But definitely, I do think they're going to add a running back now that Corbin's going pro.
So, I mean, other than Javante Barnes, is there anybody you're thinking of, or would it be transfer?
I mean, the only guy I've seen in the portal that I like is Jahmyr Gibbs out of Georgia Tech that hit the portal. The problem is I think Shashard Choice is going to USC as the running backs coach. He's really close to Shashard Choice. I think I lean towards that he probably follows him there. But then again, it might be distance might play into it because he's from the Georgia area. So maybe that works out for FSU or maybe another Southern school. I think Alabama is certainly up there as well. So that's the only guy I've seen that kind of fits my criteria so far in being kind of that elite back. So I think more backs will go in there. There's going to be more elite backs that jump in the portal. So I'm certainly FSU is going to have opportunities, but so far there's not a guy in there. As far as Barnes, he's more of a high school kid, but yeah, he fits that elite category, Aslan. But probably that one's kind of, we don't know. It's kind of, I lean kind of towards Southern Cal, but I think it's close. I think it's close between Southern Cal, FSU, and Oklahoma. So I think those are the three teams I think he's pretty focused on.
We'll take it. We'll also take this from Terry Carter. What's going on, Terry? Throwing 20 bones our way. Let's go, Noles. Hoping to build this year. That's all he's got to say.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Thanks, Terry. You got a question? You know how this works. You can go ahead and pop it up on here on the screen, and we'll get to it. We're going to get to a phone call right after this. Don Julio, 1942. If anybody's asking, that's on. What's on your Christmas list from ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, Michael?
I was waiting for the snow to fall down. Like
Ah.
that's what I was waiting for.
What are you gonna?
I'll wait for that after Wednesday. After Wednesday, I'll be able to share with Aslan kind of my favorite.
Okay. Well, why you gotta make us wait till then? I mean, you can obviously have it then, but can't you let us know now what you're gonna have on tap?
I'm still trying to decide. I'm indecisive like recruits.
I got you. All right, you know who's not indecisive is our guy Wes from the Villages. He's got questions locked and loaded. I think it's the 70th call of all time. Give it up for the dude in the Villages. It's Wes. What's going on, Wes? Good evening to you.
Good evening, gentlemen. Aslan, right off the top, I got to say I love the sweatshirt, man. It's pretty cool. Love it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Michael, how you doing, buddy?
I'm fantastic. Just ready to close this thing down, and it's pretty chaotic, and certainly all the coaching news is made it even more challenging. But no, I'm good. I'm ready to roll, and just get ready for Wednesday.
Yeah, so actually I've been listening. Both of my questions have already been asked. Luckily, I've got a couple in line to replace them.
I knew you did, Wes. I knew.
So, with Randy Shannon getting promoted to linebacker coach and co-DC, I know it's a little late. As much as I'd love to flip Basante, I know that's probably not likely. And I know, with early signing day, too close to get anybody. Do you think they'll go just straight like two linebackers in the portal? Do you think they'll try to seek out somebody maybe in the prep class? Or is it kind of we are where we are and it's just got to be portal or bust for this year?
Well, I think they have somebody in mind in the prep. I don't know who that is. Maybe somebody that Randy knows that he's worked on throughout the season. Because remember, Randy and them are the ones that made the call when Randy is an analyst. So they talk to a lot of kids. So there's potentially probably somebody that he's really high on. So I think there's a good chance with that guy. Hopefully, I'll get a name, but either way, we'll keep track of it. And then I think they're going to add two portal kids. I mean, I think that's the plan. I think get two portal kids and a high school kid. I think that's kind of where their focus is of what they want to do with linebacker. And I think once they do that, I think they're kind of if they accomplish what they're planning and expectations are, I think they will feel very good about the linebacker position going into next year.
Yeah, and the other thing, somebody had mentioned Mortimer, and to kind of piggyback off of it, I read something somewhere where he commented about, I guess he was just kind of losing a little bit of faith in the staff for whatever reason, or not just feeling the love. I guess the question I have to go with that is that Ron Dugans, I love Ron Dugans, but the wide receiver room, we know what it is and what it's been. And there's not a lot in the class, and so do you think it's a combination of Dugans, that position coach, or the lack of an elite quarterback? I love Jordan Travis, but somebody that's not just slinging all over the field. Could you pinpoint what you think is really hindering the wide receiver class?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. I mean, I mentioned it many times about what the wide receiver group has done. It's very weak as far as what I've seen, but with Mortimer itself, I can't really pinpoint a certain thing. I don't think it's interest. FSU is certainly used both weeks. They had Norvell out there the last week, and then they had Dugans out there a week before. I think both weeks Dugans was there, so it's definitely not interest. Maybe it's people around him that's like, hey, I don't know about this. I mean, I'm not completely sold. So maybe it's people around him that might not be sold. But we'll see. Like I said, I still lean FSU for now, but certainly he has some decisions to mull over to make sure of that. I know FSU talked to him the other night or called him from what I hear, but I have to check and see how that call went and just kind of go from there.
Well, cool. One last thing. If Billy stays, what do you think about them going after Bo Nix, who hit the portal?
Yeah, and that's kind of going to my other point. Like, I think Bo's phenomenal. Certainly, he's certainly a cup of tea for some people, and some people are like, man, he just does too many crazy stuff. But for me, yeah, I would love it because I mean, he certainly would fit what you do, which is, you need a guy that keeps plays alive with his legs, and he certainly does that. Certainly has a big arm. He kind of fit all that. But as I said before, when I talked about both positions of running back and quarterback, you have to be cautious about what you have. You have a team that's now finally together with Jordan Travis. And I'm not saying you just give Jordan the job, but I'm saying they're finally in a good place culture wise. So you don't want to bring somebody that's too outlandish that really kind of not I'm not saying poison, but just confuses that where you're going. So I think I want a guy that's solid that's going to push Jordan, but you have to be. I think they're taking a cautious approach to make sure the guy is a fit, both personality, mindset, whatever goes into that. So I think Bo Nix will be phenomenal as far as I'm concerned, but I know with FSU they're taking a cautious approach of every angle to make sure that fit is there in every way. So I think that's really where it stands as far as that. Now, for me personally, like I said, I would take Bo Nix. Phenomenal.
Very good. Very good. Well, I appreciate it. Aslan, thanks for taking the call, buddy. Michael, good finish strong. Can't wait to tune in on Wednesday for the coverage. Hopefully have an exciting finish. Everybody, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as warchant.com, the best in the business. Support Zaxby's, support DeLuna. Get in on some ABC fine wine and spirits if that's your thing. Y'all be good. Go Noles.
That's right. That's our dude in the Villages. He is named Wes. Thanks for the call, Wes. We certainly do appreciate it. Michael, let's keep this thing rolling. Back the way, helicopter kick. Sorry. I forgot who it was. Whoever the guy was that threatened to beat me up one time. Asked a question about Jay Sean, and Michael answered it. But you know what? Usually we don't do it for $5, but since I didn't get to it,
there you go.
It's for you, man. It's for you. Helicopter kicks. Is that in reference to like Street Fighter, like Ryu, Ken, like the whole thing they do? Let me know. Helicopter kicks. Post it in the comments below. We'll get to it. Let's keep this thing rolling here on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe, as well said. Right? Hit the thumbs up button. We really appreciate it. We got our guy in Hawaii on deck. We've got Ralph. We'll take a question here too off YouTube before we get there. Let's see here. Michael Jackson, posthumously. Who's going to be the surprise player like Noles and Cooper were this year, in your opinion, Michael? We keep talking about the big guys. Give us a sleep.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot in this class. As I'll pop up the commitment thing so I can go through all of them in my head, so I make sure
You don't have it memorized, Michael? Come on, man.
Not yet.
Brian Courtney could be one of the guys, man. What about Devon Mortimer could be one of the guys? Like, I'm working on him.
Yeah, I like Mortimer a lot. Obviously, it's not a surprise since he's a 4-star. I mean, I'm very high on that kid's ability to return kicks. He's certainly a guy. I think Brian Courtney. I've covered him. I've covered my thoughts on him so many times that I think he's phenomenal. I think he is exactly what they don't have, which is a extremely athletic guy that gets separation all the time. I think certainly you have a lot of group of talented offensive linemen, but I don't think you want playing freshman offensive linemen. So I don't think that's kind of what you want to kind of focus on. But the guy that I would go with to watch, that's sleeper that nobody talks about, is Rodney Hill. I think he's phenomenal. I think running back, only running back in the class so far. Love this kid's game. He's going to be such a weapon as a receiver and a running back. Kind of similar, the way he's used, the way they do things is kind of to Alvin Kamara. I'm not saying he's Alvin Kamara. I'm saying he does some of the same things. He's explosive, both in the running game and the passing game. He's very strong, big kid, runs hard, physical, but also very fast, very elusive, got good wheels, good ability to make people miss in open space. And I'm very high on this kid. I think this is a kid that's going to play a lot, and I think he's going to give a lot of teams problems. It's just his athletic ability, the things he can do. Because if you watch him in the passing game, just saw the one-handed catch there. I mean, he has got incredible hands for a running back. Not to say running backs are bad hands, but he's a little different than a lot of other running backs. Just the things he can do, both with rushing the ball and in the passing game. I think he's going to be a guy that surprises people.
All right. Back to the phone line. Let's go to Hawaii. I think it's 3:00 out there, so it's still plenty of sunlight. It's our guy. It's Ralph. Ralph, aloha. How's it?
Aloha, guys. How's it going?
Great, man.
Pretty good, Ralph. Hey, we're coming out that way in February, my man. Me and the wife are going over there, come back home for her since she's Hawaiian. So we'll be back over there in your land.
Yeah.
Yep, Honolulu.
Let me know when you're on deck. Yeah, let me know when you're on deck if y'all feel like it. Miss Ingrid and I would love to take y'all out to dinner.
Oh, we're down for it. DM me on my on the message board if you're on there. Just send me a DM.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty antiquated with technology. I'll figure out what you just said to me, and we'll get it done.
Email me, Ralph. I'll get you in touch with Michael.
Yeah, email him, and then we'll get in touch, and we'll let you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. My question that I was going to ask on Thursday before I got hung up on, through the portal, or what we have on our team now, the players, or with what's coming in, Michael, has any of your contacts in the program given you any indication that they feel good about our ability at the defensive end to replicate what Jermaine and Kier gave us this year? Because obviously it was so vital to the success of the defense. Thank you.
Yeah, I think they're definitely. I mean, you're not going to get another Jermaine Johnson, but you want to get somebody that comes close to the production of what you did. So I think they definitely feel good with the guys they're going after. Certainly, a guy that visited this weekend, Jared Burse, Albany defensive end. He's a guy that they did a really good job with. Hopefully, if they get him in the boat, they can kind of get things started, and that will, and then possibly you can go after another one. Both of those guys are tremendous kids. Kier was originally from South Carolina, but he's originally before that he's from Miami Central High School over there in Miami, Florida, and certainly there was a lot of ties there to FSU. With Jared, I don't know so much there's ties there, so you're gonna have to work just. But the good news about that is you don't really need ties when you had what those two guys did on the field. I think kids see that. That was a big part of Jared talking about why he visited FSU. It's like these guys and what they're doing with their guys. That's the kind of coaching I want to get. That's the kind of program I want to be at. So I think they're going to get their guys. Who they're going to be, I don't know 100% sure, but I think Jared Burse is certainly one of them that's high on their list, and certainly one that's very attainable for FSU. But I do think they're going to fill that position and fill it to now. How well they do it, that's kind of up in the air. That we'll discuss as we get closer. But I definitely think those are kind of a benchmark now. Okay, you know what you want. You know what you want from these ends, and those are the kind of players. And I think they know, they have focus on what they're doing, and I think they have a expectation that they're going to get it done.
And I know we had Cushney. I think I told you, Marcus, that came in a little bit late, so he got on the playing field, but he obviously wasn't the star man because of what those two gentlemen did for us. Right. So I don't know how they feel about his development, how they're bringing him along. So I know we got Cushney from last year that's going to be a part of that attack this year. And what they did for us last year, obviously, like I said, was so vital. Oh, yeah. I just hope we can get some level of efficiency out of that. To some degree, that's going to help the defense.
No, it's a really good point, Ralph, and certainly that's what their plan is. And I mean, you still have several guys. I think Dennis Briggs is coming back next year. I mean, Aslan, correct me if I'm wrong, but you also have Derek McClendon, who's really come along. And then if you can get a high school kid and get a couple of portal kids, yeah, you could match that production. You might not match the monstrous plays that Jermaine Johnson did, or even Kier Thomas, but you get the productivity. You get guys that are going to be very big as far as in that defensive front. Certainly the good news already is Robert Cooper's coming back, possibly Fabian Lovett as well. So if you get those two back, and then you work on these guys, whether high school or portal guys, which I think they're gonna hit on some as far as getting what they want. But if you hit at some of that, I think you can get the productivity that we're probably looking for to kind of match last year. Maybe not be as good as that, but I think it's going to be similar to think the expectations are going to be similar to what they're going to get out of those guys.
Sure, and I know last year's signing class, they were really high on Patrick Payton as well.
Yes.
So he'll be a year into the conditioning and so forth. So I really appreciate y'all's time. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Ralph.
Love you, Ralph. I didn't hang up on you last week. I promise, man. I didn't hang up on the person before you quickly enough. So there's dead air. So then the phone automatically hangs up. Wasn't anything purposely. You know I love you, man. Aloha. How's it? We got a lot of questions here on YouTube. We got to get to these quickly. Chris Thompson, Earl Little Jr., Kendrick Law. What do you think, Michael?
I don't think FSU gets either one of those. Probably Earl Little. I would lean towards Alabama, and then Kendrick Law. I'm hearing more about LSU, but he might not sign too. So there's questions about if he's even going to sign. Yeah, I'm not expecting FSU. They certainly are up there with both of those guys. Earl's kind of flirted with them throughout the process, but I just think Alabama's kind of, the team I hear the most consistent with Earl.
All right. Somebody was asked about Kamari Wilson. I'm trying to find it, but I can't. But Kamari Wilson, what do we know about him?
Yes, he's got Florida State certainly one of his finalists. I hear more about Georgia, and then he visited Florida last weekend too. So I would still stick with Georgia for me. That you never know. FSU is a dark horse, and there could be a surprise. There seems to be always a one surprise, in signing day, if not several surprises. So maybe there could be a surprise. But if I was going on what I have, I would say I'd lean a little bit towards more Georgia, but I think Florida's very high up there for him too. So I think, those two seem to be higher for me than FSU. But you're dealing with 17, 18-year-old kids. You don't know what you could get a surprise here and there. But I'm not expecting to hear FSU.
Scott Paca asking about Marcus Banks.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's already Thomas thing really picked up steam the last 2-3 weeks. So I haven't heard much about Marcus lately. Now, maybe he's a late guy that they're waiting on to make sure the numbers fit what they want, and then they're going to push. But right now, I just know there's interest level, there's talking. But as far as being serious, I haven't heard anything with that. And it kind of leads me to believe that he's waiting past this early sign day because I haven't heard anything with other teams like setting up visits, offers and all that stuff. But I do know there's been communication. But besides that, Scott, I don't really have a lot of information on that one. I just think it's going to be probably later in the process for him as far as a decision.
Also, we'll get to another call here shortly. Mark Sermons. Thank you again earlier, Mark, for throwing some dollars in the tip jar. Appreciate that. Michael, did Tyree West not have a great year? I only ask this because I see his rankings have dropped a good amount in the last month.
They're up and down. I mean, there's been games where he's been solid, and then there's been games where he didn't play as well or he didn't show up as much as you've wanted to see. But I wouldn't say he had a bad year. I'd just say it was an inconsistent year up and down. There's several games where he was really good. Certainly, rankings are going to fluctuate because of performance, and I mean, that's the thing with rankings is that it really depends on when somebody goes see them, if they're flashing to them, and then things that they're not doing. That's going to be highlighted. So I think the main thing I would say is up and down.
Dang, he was as high as 12th in the nation, huh?
Yeah.
Now 97th. But hey, what are you gonna
I
do?
think FSU will take him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I ain't complaining. All right, let's grab a phone call here. I don't recognize this number. I don't even recognize this area code. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling us from?
Hello.
Yeah, man. What's up? What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't prompt you. Hey, this is Ricardo. I'm calling from Cypress, Texas. I'm a Florida State football alum, graduated in 2010, and it's awesome to be on your show.
All right, Ricardo, did you say?
That's my man. That's my guy. Yeah, that's my guy, Ricardo. Good. Played at FSU under Jimbo. He was a walk-on there. Certainly knows a lot of football. Certainly a guy I talk to often. So I know he's a good guy. And I know he's got a good question for me. So fire away, my man.
He's a plant.
Yeah, so I'm gonna tackle one of the elephants in the room, and I don't believe in ever throwing any type of coaching under the bus. I mean, I understand how hard this business is, but it just seems like we've got two areas of our program that are lacking. One of them is linebacker. Obviously, Coach Marv has gone on to Wake Forest, and the other seems to be the wide receiver room. And Mike, do you see some movement in this class to address that? And if you don't see the movement on signing day, do you see possible changes in the staff coming, or is that a bit of an extreme take?
Yeah, Marv went to Virginia Tech, but yeah, certainly, the receivers is a big question mark as far as what I've seen out of production. I mean, I think it's a valid point, and it's certainly, I think it's something that Norvell is going to have to address, especially if somehow you don't pull Mortimer and you don't pull Coleman. Oh man, the coals are going to get hot. So I definitely think it's something heavily that Norvell is going to have to look heavily into, because I mean, this is a very weak receiver group, probably one of the weakest I've seen in FSU in a while, and I've been here all my life. But it's a weak group. So, and it comes down to development, and certainly the coaches are going to have to make that call. But I mean, my decision is like, yeah, that's something you have to look into, because if you're not getting dudes, as we saw with Marv, you're not getting the guys in here. You got to find the people that will get them in there and will develop them. So certainly a question, and certainly one that I think FSU staff will look at. I think they evaluate all these coaches across the board. We see that every year. So definitely, I think Ricardo, that's something that they will look at as a whole, evaluating these coaches.
Okay. Do you think if we do miss on some of our big fish in the receiver department, do you see the staff possibly, if we're lucky enough to get Hunter's commitment, Azare, if we can land those guys, do you see them playing receiver when they get here?
Yeah, I think Hunter and Zari are both going to play offense. I think they both discussed that there's plans for them to both play. More so, we know with Hunter for sure, and then Thomas. I've seen Thomas myself. I've already confirmed that he's going to play offense. So if they're fortunate enough to get those guys, you immediately insert them as a possibility to get into the lineup, and then certainly the always elusive golden goose is Destin Hill, to see if he shows up in January. And if he shows up, then certainly there's a dramatic change in your wide receiver room. And assuming you sign Mortimer and Coleman, then yeah, your wide receiver room looks totally different. You're talking about 5 guys to go along with Malik McLean and Pokey and a few others. So it certainly changes your mindset of how you look at the receiver room. But I definitely think you're going to have to use guys, that play different positions, like Hunter, like Azare, to use them both ways. Because you got to get this fixed. I mean, you cannot consistently go through a year and have this kind of production at receiver and expect your offense to run the way you want it to run.
Yeah, well, that gives me a little bit of hope going in. I'm sure all these guys that are listening to this, they watched the same Noles we watched this year, and we were so close. Yep. We're first down away from beating Clemson in Clemson. If we can make a couple plays, we're just missing that explosiveness on the offensive end at the receiver group. And if we could plug that up, man, we could really make a jump. I appreciate you guys. I'm Mike. You're the best in the business. Aslan, thank you for taking the call. God bless you guys, and let's go Noles. Let's have a hell of a Wednesday.
Let's go. All right. Welcome to the Terror Dome. First ever call for Ricardo in Cypress, Texas.
Yeah, it's a good dude. Really good dude. I've known him for a long time. And he's definitely knows football, and everyone sees it. Certainly going to be growth in everything you do with FSU recruiting and on the field. We've seen that across the board. So hopefully they get it right, and we'll see what happens at the receiver, and then we'll see if how much what they do, if there's any change, or if there's what guys they add, and go from there.
Folks, if you got a person on your holiday shopping list who's impossible to shop for, remember ABC Fine Wine and Spirits is always a clutch call. ABC is fully stocked with easy Christmas gifts like customizable wine baskets and gift sets of your favorite spirits, wrapped in special packaging with glassware, minis, and more. This is my favorite time of year because you can buy the stuff that you've always liked, but now it comes with like free glasses that are fancy. Like I'll get like Johnny Walker etched on the glasses. Also, don't forget, folks, if you're like me, and I don't want to say that I'm antisocial, I like you people. I do this for a living. I have to talk to all of you. You don't want to deal with the line sometimes. You can do your orders online and do curbside pickup. I know for sure at the location on Thomasville Road, 1930 Thomasville Road. Again, the one near Midtown, close to the Midtown offices. So if you're busy, you don't want to deal with all these crazy people in line sometimes, you can do online shopping, even for some good old-fashioned wine and spirits over at ABC. And don't forget, the National Signing Day live show will be brought to you by our friends over at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, and that starts at 8 a.m. on Wednesday. Awesome. I'm going to be really mad, Michael, if somebody's not announcing until like 10 o'clock in the morning. And it's just you and I up talking, blah, blah, for 2 hours. But it'll be fun. 7 hours. Myself, Michael, Tom Lang, Jeff Cameron. I think Ira's going to be involved. Might even have a former Seminole helping break down some prospects. So it'll be fun. Tune in. We'll be live here on YouTube, as well as the Jeff Cameron Show will be live on 93.3 FM in Tallahassee. All right, full steam ahead. Let's get back to the good folks here on YouTube that have been very patient in the pocket. We do appreciate it, especially when you do things like that. Thank you, Eric Angel. Let's go, Noles, class of 22. Hunter, Duffy, hopefully Julian Armella, Marvin Jones Jr., and others. Thanks, Aslan and Michael, for all the hard work in bringing Noles news coverage. No question, Eric? No question. All right, man.
Fire me a question, Eric. Doesn't matter what it is.
There he goes. Look at that. Look at that. Do what the man says. Do what the man says. Following along here, let's see. There's somebody else that dropped something here on us. Jay Fly was talking about under the radar guys. He agrees with you with Rodney Hill. And then he says Tank Bigsby. Is that somebody that you should go after in the portal? Huh? That's a running back. That's something that we haven't talked about. That would be bad.
I think the word I hear on Tank is that he's probably staying at Auburn. So that's the word I hear. So he's not in the portal. So so just want to fill that up, Jay. So and I've already talked about Rodney Hill. I mean, that's one guy that I'm very high on. Just I think he's a nice sleeper playmaker, and I think he's gonna be a big part of what they do.
There we go. Do I play the music? Yeah, I mean, I should play the music, right?
Guys, occasion, the Godfather himself has been kind enough to grace us with his presence. The Godfather. This is his damn house. He lives there. He sleeps 20 feet away.
It's Ed Lemmix, the man behind all this good stuff that you already know about. Michael, I need to send you some hot chocolate for you and the signees.
Yes. I was just talking to Aslan about that today in our meeting. So definitely, Ed, fire away, man. Whatever you can send me, I'll certainly be very gracious and humble to get that. Certainly, I'll be excited about it, and I hope to see you soon, man. Come to town. We want to see you.
Yeah. Oh, the little hot chocolate. Put a little Bailey's in there. Maybe a little Bailey's in there. Make a little extra punch. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate the heck out of you, man. Bill Stockwell asks Michael, do you think actually, I don't like Bill Stockwell. He's been mean to me before on YouTube. I'm going to skip over him. I hold a grudge, man. I hold a grudge. This is the second person that's asked it. Charm850. I mean, do you want to address surprises?
I mean, I've already pointed out that there could be, a linebacker that they got their eyes on. I don't know who it is. I'm not predicting there's going to be, and I'm not even predicting it's going to happen or there's some surprise. I have not heard. I mean, I think most of the guys, we're in the day now, Derek, that there's not many surprises. I think most of the guys are kind of what they expect, but linebacker's a position that, you wanted to get 3, or 4. So they got 1 right now. So potentially, and it works out this way because you have a new linebackers coach in Randy Shannon who has a lot of connections at different places. And when you have a new guy near the end of that signing day, you might have a guy that he's been working on that he's talking to. Now, do I know? No, I don't know who it is or who the player could be that they're focused on. But I'm not expecting too many. Besides that, I'm not expecting too many. But there could be. One that they have their eye on. I'm more so at linebacker. Besides that, I'm not expecting like the surprises that were out of left field or anything like that.
Abdullah Zakaria, any news of Florida State or Auburn sending a letter of intent to Woody Antavius, I guess, right? Is that his first name, Antavius?
Yes, Antavius Woody. He's going to sign in February. There's some stuff he has to work out with academics, so they're trying to keep that on pace. And then I think in January he's probably going to visit FSU again. I think probably Auburn might get a visit because Auburn's close by. So I think he's going to sign in February. Like I say, he's got to work through a few academic small things. I don't think they're like major where they don't think he's going to make it. I think the plan is still they think he's going to make it, but I think they want to take a patient approach and then go from there. But I think if they take him, I think his preference is to go to Florida State. That's where he wants to be, from what I can tell. And certainly loves Atkins a lot. But I think they just want to take the proper approach to him taking care of stuff that is important to whatever he goes to college. He'll be ready and be able to smoothly transition into FSU.
We got some late arrivers. They haven't arrived late as we've been on the phone lines. Kevin Coleman. Somebody asking Kevin Coleman a lock. I don't know about that. But what what about Kenny? I mean, the report about Kenny being a candidate at Oregon, does that affect Kevin Coleman? And I mean, I guess you mentioned a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's a factor. I mean, it's a factor when I have to make a prediction tomorrow. I mean, when we do our predictions, it's a factor. I mean, do I feel good about FSU's chances? Yeah, if you know Kevin, if you know Dillingham's staying, but if Dillingham's not staying, yeah, it's going to be a tough call. But either way, I just think you're going to have to. The FSU certainly, I'm sure they've been on the phone consistently with Kevin Coleman, letting them know kind of the situation with that, both either good or bad. So yeah, it certainly definitely affects it. Took a visit to Miami. I think Southern Cal is definitely high on this list, and then I got to go back to the Oregon thing. What if Dillingham goes to Oregon? We know he likes Oregon a lot. They were one of his favorites, really top teams from the start. So if he went to Oregon, that dramatically changed things where he could end up back at Oregon where, so there's a lot of dynamics to, this Kevin Coleman thing that we have to piece. And then in the next 24 to 48 hours, I have to figure out. So, if Dillingham stays, I still like my pick. If he doesn't, then it's going to be much more difficult, but, still gotta, I gotta grind on the phones, dig and see what's out there. And then, make some final calls, but that's kind of where the things stand on Kevin.
There we go. Oh, how about this guy? Joel Davis is here. Joel, oh man, I gotta cue this up. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this. Thank you, Joel. And let's go, man. My guy, Joel, what's up? It's been a minute, man. You got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Thank you, Joel. I just want to say the Wednesdays. Will it be better than Christmas, Michael? Can you confirm?
I think it'll be exciting. I don't know if you'll like all the gifts you open up that were new. I think most of them, I think it'll be great. I think it'll be really good. Could be extremely good if things fall the way in getting certain presents that you're hoping for. But I think it'll be fun. I think it's going to be really exciting no matter what. It could just turn into extraordinary if things fall into place the way FSU hopes it does.
I've been focusing this whole time. I just have another computer here devoted to Twitter just to see if anything's going to happen news-wise. So I just want you to know that I'm focused. I'm listening to what Michael's saying. What you're saying, Joel. Thank you, man. We appreciate it. How about our guy, Big Steven Williams? Michael, outside of Travis Hunter, who do you see as a day one impact player in this current class? You can assume we can pull some of these non-committed players that you're going to forecast for FSU. Thank you for grinding.
Well, I go back to the same guy I've talked about all time is Azare Thomas. I've seen Azare in person. He's a Rivals 100 player, athlete. He is a phenomenal receiver. Aslan maybe can throw some video up for you guys, but he is really explosive after the catch and certainly has the wheels, a long strider, but he is lightning fast as far as after the catch, and he's long, athletic. He's like 6'2", I believe, and just has such a catch radius is so large out there when he's on the field, and I just think he's an incredible receiver. When every time I watch him play, I marvel at his explosive ability after the catch. I think he could add a lot to making an impact somewhere on the field, whether it's receiver, whether it's special teams, where it's defense. I mean, he just does a little bit of everything that you look for. As people can see with his explosive ability there, just blows by people like it's nothing. And I think you pit him in with, Sam McCall and Travis Hunter. I mean, they're going to have a lot of weapons that they can use on special teams, which was very lacking this year for FSU. So if you're looking at excitement alone, these guys could certainly help you at the special teams department.
What's your instinct say? Is he offensive guy, defensive guy? Do you think day one?
I think he'll play defense because he's really, I mean, that's his best position. Obviously we've seen a lot of, offensive highlights, but I think defense is where he will make his money. I mean, that's where he's the most dynamic, but he is so phenomenal at receiver. I can't put in the words. I mean, just I love everything he brings as far as after the catch, and that's what they're lacking. It's like guys that can get separation, guys that can fight for the football, guys that can do a little bit of everything. As far as explosion, separation, what do you do after the catch? Physicality. It's a very physical player. I mean, when you watch him play, he's a very physical guy, and he's tough to bring to the ground. So I think defense is his calling card, but I think this is a kid you're going to see on offense.
There we go. How about another Wesley? But he goes by Wesley completely. Wesley Dobbs, $10. Thanks, man. Question for Mike: what is the timing for the Johnson kids?
I mean, they could. It could happen like after signing day. The team I hear to kind of watch lately has been Texas A&M because I mean their quarterback just went in the portal. Their starting quarterback actually. It seems to be a good situation where Jimbo needs a quarterback. Obviously, Jake Johnson is a phenomenal tight end, and certainly Jimbo knows how to get playmakers the ball. So that's the team I hear. But as far as timing, I've heard, there's no exact time, but I would sense it's probably after signing day or just a little bit, or around signing day or just after it. That's kind of what I've heard.
So you think we'll know by the end of the month then, pretty much?
Yeah, around there.
And then question for me, can I get some party horn? Wah, 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 wah. Of course, man. You have to ask. Let's go, Wesley. Come on, man. Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Cecil Bat 11. Any chance we flip EJ Lightsey from Florida?
I have not heard that because the previous linebackers coach I didn't think was too high on him after they worked him out. I will check on that, Cecil, just to see if there's anything new. But everything I've heard that he was going to Florida, but I don't see. I'm not anticipating it. Now they do have a guy that's out of Florida that is in the portal that I do think there's interest in. Not to change the subject, but I think there is a guy there. So Lightsey could be a guy. I see apparently he decommitted. So interesting. So I'll have to check on EJ on that one, guys. But I haven't heard anything as far as my contacts go. I know he loved FSU a lot before this. In fact, in the spring, they were the leader. They were the favorite. So that's definitely one I will check on. But Diabate is the linebacker. Maybe Aslan can pull that up. But he's a guy that I know that FSU is interested in. I think he led the Florida in tackles last year. So if there was one guy, connected to Florida, it would be him that I think there is interest from Florida State on. Certainly a guy that's very productive, which is kind of what they're looking for, Mohamed Diabate. So I think this is a guy that I would circle.
Bogle? What happened to Bogle?
Bogle, I think he's visiting Kentucky, and I think it's Kentucky or Michigan State from what I hear. So that's kind of where things stand with Bogle.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. We got stuff. Somebody's asking if they sell box wine. Yeah, they sell box wine, helicopter kicks. That Boda box stuff ain't a joke, man. I'm telling you, the ladies like it. They do, I'm being honest. John McKnight, who from the Norvell coaching tree is out there to take over the offense if and when Dilly leaves. Check out warchant.com, the tribal council. Ira's got some names out there from the Norvell coaching tree to think about. Let's see here. Bo Roy. There he is. There's our guy. Well, let's go right now. $75 for you, Michael. Here's some Hawaii trip money for you.
There we go. All right.
Ask me, how do we get the license for want to be a baller? What is it? Just beg for forgiveness. Don't ask for permission or whatever. So we'll go with that. There you go. You won it. We had it ready for you to go, Roy. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. We really do. Thank you so much. Todd Morris, I got here late. Did he talk about Marvin Jones Jr.? Yes, he did. Eric Angel, quarterbacks from the portal do you see possibly coming the Noles bring on board?
Yeah, we mentioned Jack Plummer before from Purdue. He's one that I think there's interest in. I think I've been told that Norvell has talked to the Johnson family, so there's a little communication some there. I'm not sure there's a pursuit yet, but those are some that they've already talked to. Bo Nix is one I'm tracking just to see if there's anything there. So those are kind of some of the names, at least right now, that I have that I've heard. But nobody really serious yet where we feel like the full court press is on. But like I've told people, there's going to be a patient approach to this to make sure they get the right guys and not overthink this. So I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to be very cautious and conservative. And two, there's going to be a lot of guys in there, as we already seen. Bo Nix is in there, the starting quarterback from Texas A&M, Catazale, I think that's his name or something like Calzada. He's in there. He's a very productive quarterback.
Keaton Slovis. He's a Arizona dude from Southern Cal. Kenny stays.
Yeah. There's tons of guys. Like I said, they're gonna do their due diligence and background. So that's kind of the guys that are on the board right now, Eric.
What do you believe about this? We can't go through a whole show without talking about the unicorn of Louisiana. Jason asks, word is that David Johnson actually checked in on Destin Hill last week. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, there's truth because I put it on the PRB. So definitely it is truth. I'm the one that said it. So yes, there is truth that they went to check on him to see how things are going, and like I said, the expectation is still January. I won't go into all the details because it's on the PRB for people that want to read it. And but yes, they definitely checked in him, and the expectation is still January from what I was told.
All right. Mark Sermons is back with more money. Thanks, Mark. You didn't have to do that. Appreciate that, man. I just want to say that he appreciates all the information. Keep up all the good work. I listen to all the Warchant shows and look forward to them each day, which you should. Tomorrow, Seminole Headlines, 1 to 3 p.m. Corey's in town. I think he's still in town. He was in town today. We saw him live in the flesh, so maybe the whole gang will be in the studio. Appreciate it, though. Thank you, Mark. Michael Carpenter, we went after Marquise Gilbert, right? He just committed to Auburn.
Yes, yeah, committed to Auburn. Covered that last night. Told people that's the expectation going in, so that's definitely not a surprise. Committed to Auburn. That was kind of the leader going to visit. FSU, made a push, but as I said, with Thomas, there wasn't really a need to really. I think the impression I got was they prioritized Thomas more than Gilbert. So in this in the recruiting class, so that's kind of where I stand.
Dylan Garrett says there's Kamari Wilson buzz on FSU Twitter as we speak.
Well, guess what? We'll find out Wednesday, won't we? So we'll see. I'm not a pure buyer on that yet, Dylan, but that's something I'm keeping an eye on. But I still lean towards Georgia. I lean towards the teams that you hear more consistent, and Georgia and Florida are the teams I hear more. But yeah, Kamari has always flirted with them, and he likes them a lot. I mean, he's very high on Woodson. He's very high on this defense and what they're going to do. And I mean, certainly if you get a Thomas, a McCall, and a Hunter, yeah, you're talking about, and then Kamari pulls a shocker above all shockers. Certainly they ain't turning it down. Look at that, Aslan. Guys giving you love for the sweatshirt.
Nice. I'm sorry, Bill. I was mean to you earlier. But I kind of asked your question in a roundabout way, whether or not, because I think your question was if Kenny leaves is going to affect any targets. And, Michael pretty much said as much, but we'll leave you on the screen. We'll let people know.
And I would just follow up on that. It's like, I'm not going to really address Kenny Dillingham's situation, guys. I said this on the recruiting board until there's actually a decision, whether he's staying or he goes. I'll address it then. As far as that situation, but there's really no sense in addressing something that's not a fact yet. We don't know which way things are going, but I will go into detail about it one way or the other once it happens. Once he's either comes out and says I'm staying, or he says I'm off to Oregon. So, but until then, I don't think it's really smart to actually go in detail about the effects of it yet.
You just wish that they'd figure this thing out here in the next 12 hours.
It'd be nice.
Because, it could be one of these things where they're just hitting pause. Like, all right, You do your recruiting. I'll do my recruiting, and we'll talk about it after. Maybe it's just
My life's hard.
Remember, everybody's. It's got to be somewhat simpatico, you would think, because they obviously worked under Mike in Memphis. So Dan's not going to screw Mike by doing something weird with maybe the timing wise. So maybe it's all something's being kind of worked behind the scenes so that it works out for everybody involved. We could hope.
We'll see. It's a wait and see, and certainly it makes things more challenging for me. Certainly, and certainly FSU just figuring out this stuff and stuff like that. My personal opinion, if Kenny did leave, I think Atkins is a guy that I think you would look for to promote to the OC position, and then maybe get a quarterback coach or something like that. I think that's how I envision it. I'm not saying it will. I've got intel or stuff to do it, but that's kind of what I believe could happen if that gets done.
Look at this. We're making deals here. Ooh, Ed's on it. Well, we're grinding some Galuna beans up in the Rising Spirit thing. That's pretty sweet. I'm going to post a comment here on the screen, Michael, if I can find it here. Everything just keeps moving. Just, it's critical. Just want to know if you agree or not with it. It's Jason Thomas again.
Okay.
Makai Mason, Randy Special, pass.
Yeah, that's the guy I mentioned on the board that they were talking to, early in the season. I'm not saying he's going to be him. I mean, I don't know who it is, but I do know this. Randy knows linebackers. I mean, he's coached linebackers. He's run defenses. He knows what guys are going to fit into what their system is going to run. So I can't really say what is a Randy Special. I mean, I guess he's saying that he doesn't really think of much of his evaluations, but me personally, I mean, I trust the guy that knows that's been doing this for a while, that actually he's comfortable with certain guys, and that's what you have to trust. But we'll see. We'll see who it might be or who it is that they're kind of targeting. But it's just it's going to be a wait and see thing.
There I am. I'm back. This camera, I tell you. All right, let's get a couple more as we wind things down here on the program. Don't forget, we'll be doing this for 7 hours on Wednesday. It's awesome. I hope that didn't come off as sarcastic. I can't wait. It's going to be great. It's going to be super, super fun. Somebody asking about a 23 prospect? Come on, guys. Stay focused, man. Stay focused. We're 48 hours under. That's an interesting one right there. We got somebody here. M. Sin drops a super sticker. I don't even know what it looks like. Let me know what it looks like, everybody. We can't see it on our side, but I'm sure it's beautiful and majestic. And for that, you get that. That's how it works. I think James B. somewhere here in the house. James B's trying to make some noise. Oh man, everyone's just been really pouring it on here. Here's James B. He's from Pensacola with love. That's it. You just want to say sending with love. Well, pose a question, James. Or you let me see. You made a comment here. Maybe we'll give you some airtime. Let your comments get some air here. James B. is of the opinion that we have not seen the best of this offense. We've ran about 25% of the Norvell offense in the last 2 years. Dillingham has not shown his best. Interesting.
Yeah, and it's a take, and James, it's I mean, it's a matter of perception. You're not wrong. I mean, but you also have to go back to where they're starting from. I think that's the other thing that we have to go back. When these guys took over, what were they taking over? So I agree with you. It's not there. It's not where you want it to be or where FSU wants to be, or even what Norvell's offenses generally look like when you go back to the Memphis days. But when you're fixing stuff and you're growing from the bottom, it takes time to grow up. And certainly we saw the growth as far as how they improved during the season. But yeah, they're not there. I don't think anybody would argue that. But I think the preference would be to keep the guy that's there, because I mean, Kenny showed his capability as a play caller. I think, especially those last 5 games, I think you saw a lot of good things as far as what he did out of this offense, what he got out of Jordan. And just productivity. Even though they're weak at receiver, they found ways to hit explosive plays and do explosive things in this offense.
All right, let's take a couple more, maybe 2 more. We're going overtime. We got Director Matthew in the back. Sorry for going long, Matthew. We're getting warmed up, man, to start training for the marathon. You know how it goes. Steve-O's back. what are your thoughts, Michael, on this coaching staff in regards to recruiting? I know we are still hoping to pull the big names. You got the number 1 overall prospect in the entire nation right now. I mean, they've pulled one. But given the production on the field, are you impressed with them?
I think there's some strong recruiters in there. I think Marcus Woodson really does a phenomenal job. Coach JP, defensive ends coach, John Patches does a great job, I think, of recruiting defensive ends the way they're able to connect. Certainly Odell, there's no need to mention him because he does a great job every single year. We know Dillingham is really solid. And then, there's some points where you have places where you need to see growth and improvement. Obviously, linebacker recruiting, I've talked about that. Wide receiver recruiting, I've talked about that. So that's kind of the weak points for me when I look at the staff is you got to get more out of what you're getting from those positions as far as landing guys, because the other way you change it is getting guys here. And so that's parts where I think you can maybe make this staff a little bit better, or just whatever you got to do to just be better at recruiting at all positions and do better. Even running back, you could do better there too. So I think there's areas of improvement, but doesn't mean you need to fire everybody. It just means you need to just the staff as a whole needs to do a better job of landing players at these key positions.
All right, 2 more. By the way, I'm not on Reddit, which everybody else in the world's on Reddit, but I think they do something called upvotes, where like you post a comment, if you do, it's like a thumbs up almost, which you all should be hitting right now. Hit the thumbs up, please. Somebody was like, good question, 2Lifer, Tom Mortner. Tom Mortner's like, 2Lifer, good question. I'm like, I wonder what the question is. So I scroll up and looked for it, and I found it. So, folks, if you see a question that you like, give that guy props. And if I see it, I'll go try to find it. I'll pop it up on the screen. 2Lifer asks, Michael, Jaden Gibson.
He is likely going to Oklahoma. That's from
Why?
what I hear. He visited.
What?
Well, he has a connection with
Jeff
Levy. Jeff Levy. He left Ole Miss. So they have a relationship. Obviously, Oklahoma's offenses always seem to look good, and so he took an official visit there this weekend. I'm expecting him to probably end up at Oklahoma. Better there than Florida. Yeah. How about that?
Colton, you got to go scrub back like 20 minutes, man. I've brought Kevin Coleman up like 2 more times because people keep asking about him. So I'm sorry, but it's back there. It's back there, I promise.
Yeah.
Our guy in Arkansas, Eric, was asking, would Kamari Wilson be a bigger shocker than Anton Smith? Come on. How old are you, Eric? Read your history books. There is nothing that will ever be bigger than Anton Smith. It's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Anton was like the lock to go to Miami. Like such a lot. There's actually, talk with Kamari like, hey, there's a possibility he could choose one of these. So no, it wouldn't be a bigger shocker than Anton Smith because everyone was like, okay, this kid's definitely going to Miami. Anton Smith, there's no way he doesn't go to Miami. And he gets up there and says Florida State. Yeah, so I think no, I don't think it'll be a big shocker.
I can do this all night. I need to stop doing it. Real quick, this last one. I just need you to do fake news, real news, fact checking. Shower Beer, which with a name like that, why would I think he could be wrong? Why is Julian Armello so coveted he doesn't even start for his high school team? That can't be true.
That's news to me. I think I last saw him starting the last game I saw him. So he's coveted because they like him. And Alex Atkins evaluated him and thinks he fits exactly what they want. But I don't know any of that. I can't justify because I'm not at every St. Thomas Aquinas game, but I know what the games I've watched he started. So there you go.
There we go. All right, we could keep doing this, but Michael's got a family, y'all. I mean, I don't, but he's got a family. He needs to sleep. He's got a long 48 hours. He's got to do predictions. Tomorrow he's going to do a prediction video. Michael forecast where he thinks the rest of these big name targets that Florida State's in the mix for are going. So he'll be compiling all the information he can. And that sets the scene for Wednesday. Again, we will be starting at 8:00 in the morning Eastern time, sponsored by ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, who've been carrying the day for us here tonight. We really do appreciate their partnership. Don't forget, 1930 Thomasville Road. It's the biggest, it's the baddest, but there's one even further up north in Thomasville, and there's one on the Parkway too. So they got you covered in the entire Tallahassee area. But join us, 7 hours of live coverage and analysis. Michael, Tom Lang, Jeff Cameron, myself, Ira. We got a former Florida State alum. We're supposed to do some videos tomorrow to get that set up for Wednesday. It's going to be big. It's going to be awesome. Michael, how excited are you for the next 36 hours or whatever?
Oh, I'm really excited. I'm very excited. I'm ready to get this wrapped up, but you got to do the preparation to get before you get to that point. But I'm certainly excited about this, what this class is going to be, and to see what they can add. Let's see what they can do.
Shout out to Jay Thomas for somebody asking team-related questions. He knows the assignment. He knows it's a recruiting show. We appreciate you, Jay Thomas. We also appreciate everybody's been hitting the thumbs up button. Do it if you haven't done so already. James B. as well, M. Sin, Mark Sermons, Bo Roy, Wesley Dobbs, Joel Davis, Ed Lemmix, Eric Angel, Helicopter Kicks, Terry Carter, Mark Sermons. M. Sin's not done. Even more. He just threw some more on the pile. Appreciate that. Terry Carter and Rob Rathbun. We appreciate it, for real. It's so cool that we all get together and get to talk about the Noles, man. We do appreciate you guys being tuned in with us. So stay connected to warchant.com. It's your ultimate Seminoles sports source. Wendy, Jared Verse, Scrub like 50 minutes ago. Michael talked about him, I promise you. If you're curious about anybody, go to the beginning of the video. It's all there. Thanks again to our friends at ABC Fine Wine Spirits. Thank you to Director Matthew. He's Michael Maslon. We'll see y'all later.